Welcome to the 2017 college football season with NCCU head coach Jerry Mack. Coach, welcome back. And why don't you just talk about how things have gone in off-season in preparation for Duke?
Things have gone really well. We've been able to add a few transfers and some incoming freshmen to our rosters that I think are going to be a pleasant surprise to people out there in the North Carolina Central community. The guys have been working extremely hard over the summertime, and obviously we had a really good fall camp. We was able to come out of fall camp with no injuries, which is always a good thing. So we're just looking forward to the first game against Duke. Always going to be a good game and a good situation. You know, probably the shortest road trip in the country, but we're excited about going across the street and get a chance to play those guys.
I see Michael did win the starting job. What did he do to kind of win over the coaching staff and the team, more importantly?
The biggest thing was probably his experience. You know, Micah's played junior college football. He's 2-3 years removed from high school. So with that opportunity comes a lot of experience, and that's what we're most excited about him. He's gotten probably a lot more reps playing the quarterback position than a Nair Ramadan or a Chauncey Caldwell. But it's not over yet. You know, we're going to continue to evaluate those guys week to week and just kind of see how they perform. But going into this first game, we feel like Micah Zanders gives us an opportunity to have the best shot to win.
What do you like about him, the intangibles, away from football? Is, you know, him around the guys. A quarterback has to be a leader. So what are some of those things that kind of grabbed you with Michael?
Very charismatic character in Micah Zanders. A lot of the guys like him. He's kind of jovial, but at the time when it's time to get serious, he knows how to be serious. He knows how to put his best foot forward. He's a gym rat. He's over here all the time watching film. He does what he's supposed to do in the weight room, spends extra time in the film room and the weight room. And that's one of the things that maturity that you talk about that you want from your quarterback, that's one of the things that we saw from him.
That's kind of tough because he got here late. He got here, over the summer, and you had Malcolm here for 4 years. Are you kind of impressed that he was able to come in here and win the locker room and win the huddle as fast as he did?
I really am. I think his charisma is one of the things. You know, he's always he's the son of a preacher, and you know he has a lot of those intangibles that you look for in that quarterback position. And then intelligence. You know, Micah's a 3.5 plus GPA student, so he was able to come in and really learn what was going on extremely fast.
I hate to even do this, but how does he compare with those intangibles to Malcolm? Because, like I said, Malcolm was here 4 years and was a well-liked guy, captain. How does Micah compare to him?
Very similar. He's probably a lot more talkative than Malcolm Bell was. But as far as a lot of those intangibles, he does have some of those similar things. Now, as far as doing the things that Malcolm did on the field, that's a whole different scenario. You know, only time will tell that. But as far as some of those off-the-field things, that he shows a lot of those traits and characteristics that Malcolm had.
A lot of us have seen Zanders. What kind of quarterback is he? Running style, dual threat, or how would you describe him?
I think all our quarterbacks are very similar as far as being dual threat style of quarterbacks. Michael probably throws and is more accurate than some of those other guys that we've had in the past here. But as far as with his legs, he can still make some plays with his legs. So it's a little bit of combination of both. He's deceptively fast, so he can create and make some plays happen with his legs as well.
I want to talk about like filling holes. You lost starters and you lost lettermen. So how are you filling those holes getting ready for the Duke game?
Really excited about some of the transfers and some of these young freshmen that we had a chance to bring in. They really surprised me. Some of these guys have come into our program and their bodies and their maturity levels are ready to contribute right away. You're always excited about the transfers because they have a little bit more maturity, like a Micah Zanders that's playing quarterback this week. But also, too, you know, some other names to mention that have came in and we've influxed in the roster. Alfonso Carter's a transfer from the University of Louisville. Denario Lasters had done an outstanding job on the offense side of the ball. Josh McCoy and Jordan Fiato, those guys have came in and they've kind of solidified starting spots in our program right away.
Coach, what are you expecting or hoping for in this game on Saturday?
Obviously, we're always hoping to have a better performance than we had the previous time around. I think from 15 to 16, what you saw was we did get better playing Duke, shut them out in the second half. So obviously the goal this year is to even play a little bit better. And I think we got to continue to grow our program, and we got some different student athletes in-house. I think we have a talented team, so it'll be interesting how they go out there and compete on Saturday.
A moment ago we were over at Duke, and Coach Cutcliffe made a point to talk about how much he respects you as a man and as a coach. What is the relationship between you two like, and how much do those words mean to you?
It means a tremendous amount to me coming from a person like Coach Cutcliffe. He's been around the game for a long time, and he's seen coaches come and go, and he's seen the great ones and everything. And when you get those kind of words from somebody like that, it just lets you know that hopefully I'm on the right path and I'm doing things the right way, which is always important to me.
Piggybacking off of that question, we also talked about you guys being the 3-time defending champs. You guys are a championship program. So, I mean, I think there's a lot more respect going into an opening game against NCCU in 2017 compared to 2014 or whatever. Can you talk about how far this program has come in those 3 years, and you know what Duke has to prepare for against you guys this year compared to 3 years ago?
Well, I think, you know, one of the biggest things is whenever you've had success in your program and you got guys on our roster now, some of them with 3 championship rings, it's a certain type of swagger and a certain type of expectation that they go into games with that probably 3 years ago we did not have. We just had to grow that, and we had to learn and develop that over the last few years. So our team is a lot more confident. We played Duke the last couple of years. We understand, you know, the arena that we're going to play in. We kind of got a better feel on the type of athlete that we're going to be going up against on Saturday, which 2 years ago we really didn't. We were kind of walking in that thing blind and trying to figure it out on the run. But now we got a better feel of what's going to happen. So, you know, I just think more than anything, a confidence level. I think in our game today, if you got a lot of confidence, you can go into games with a lot more security and have a lot more, play a whole lot better more than anything.
So I want to piggyback off of that a little bit and talk about the two teams from 2016 to 2017 and some of the differences and some of the things that are similar.
Well, you know, that 2016 team, there were a lot of guys on there that had a lot of experience more than anything. Even though we had some new faces that played last year, we had a lot of guys, you know, with 3-year starter quarterback, a running back that was coming back that was really, really good. And some of those guys, the other pieces of the puzzle, they had been around for a long time. This year's team is, even though we have some older guys, we don't have as much experience from being involved in our system. Like I said, the junior college transfers and some of the young freshmen that we're going to bring in, and even some of the guys that are going to be playing on Saturday, is some of those guys' first time actually lining up and playing a live rep in a game. So the experience level, even though they've been around here, is probably the biggest difference that I see between the 2016 and 17 on the surface right now as we speak.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think last year was the first time since you've been here that you ended the season with a loss.
Mm-hmm.
How did it affect your offseason at all, just your mindset or your approach or anything? I mean, I know the players said the Celebration Bowl loss drove them throughout workouts and film sessions, but what did it do to you?
Motivation. And, you know, every coach, every player wants to end on a high note. They want to end the season in a good way. And to go into the offseason with that loss in your mouth, and especially the way we lost the game, I think it only motivates you to try to find different schemes, try to study the game a little bit more. And as a player, motivates you to work a little bit harder because you know how close you were to being the #1 overall. And that's kind of been the driving force between now and all the way back to when we lost the game. Some of those guys were there. Some of those guys played and contributed. So now, you know, they finally get a chance to go back out there since, you know, December and play a different opponent and prove that, you know, we got a chance to be successful this year.
What about you personally? What did you do differently, or did you do anything differently?
Study. I think as coaches, we're all students of the game. We took some trips in the off season, visit some different staffs, try to find different ways to just get over the hump. Things that maybe not just that game, but there were other things throughout the season that didn't go quite as like we wanted it to go. So we were able to go across the country and visit some different staffs and just see what they do different that may have a chance to give us an edge.
Have you watched the game?
Oh, yeah. You know, we watched it several times. You know, that one play in that game, there were other breakdowns in that game that we addressed during the off season and also during fall camp that we hope we can get fixed this upcoming season.
Did you watch it one time, or you watched it several times throughout the summer?
We watched it several times. Sometimes we sit around in the summertime and, you know, as we watch Duke, we'll turn on another game, the Celebration Bowl, and we'll watch that a half or a quarter or whatever it may be.
Does it still sting as much?
You know, as time goes, it doesn't sting as much, but, you know, it's always that last play or that last 2 or 3 plays. It's about 4 plays in that game that I feel like if we could have got back, that whole outcome could have been different.
Did that kind of eat at you throughout the summer?
It did. I'll be honest with you, it did. But, you know, that's why we have a 2017 season and try to get an opportunity to go out there and do it all over again.
I was impressed by walking off the field and even at the press conference after the game, about how just calm and relaxed you look despite that heartbreaking loss. Was there any point in the summer you just kind of let it out? Did you like go home and scream into a pillow, or just do anything to kind of let it out when you got upset or thought about it?
Not really. You know, I got a lot of emotions out probably after the day or two after the game. You know, it was some crying, some tears shed, some anger, all those kind of different emotions. But I think at the end of the day, the guys played their heart out. And I think I was most pleased and most impressed with that. You know, when you go back and look at that game, guys were trying to do exactly what we coached them to do, and they were playing as hard as they possibly could. And as a coach, that's all you can ever ask for.
Did you ever have a Florida Evans moment where something else happened, but it brought the emotions of looking back at the Celebration Bowl? We just
not necessarily. Not necessarily. We try to put it behind us and just move on.
One last question about that, though. Throughout the summer, did people keep asking you, bringing it up? Did that kind of take you back there when you kind of wish they would just kind of move on and look forward to the next season?
It did. You know, people brought it up a lot. But, you know, that's kind of nature of the beast. You know, we had a chance to be out, you know, be national champions. And anytime you get in that situation, people are always curious about, you know, what could you have done different, or what did you say to the team after the loss and things like that. So I understood exactly what they wanted. And I told them, I was honest. You know, it's no different than what I told you. Is I was very proud, but I think we're going to use that as motivation going forward this upcoming season.
Were you hard on yourself this summer than you were the past 2 summers before?
I don't think so. You know, like I said, I was pleased with the effort that they gave. I really liked how they played their hearts out. So I didn't lose a lot of sleep over it this summer.
So you surpassed Broadway with 24 wins to his 22. Have you had a chance to talk to him about topping him?
Not necessarily. We see each other a little bit at the MEAC Media Day and things like that. But you know, Coach Broadway still got more wins as North Carolina Central head coach than I do. So you know, I'm still trying to catch him in some kind of way.
Coach, have you already been able to figure out what the strength of this year's team is going to be?
I have not. That's the journey that we're going to venture into this upcoming weekend. Trying to figure out exactly what kind of team are we going to be this upcoming year, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and trying to put the guys in position to be successful more than anything. That's always the challenge of any new team that you have, because every team is a little bit different, from the 15 to 16 and obviously now to the 17 team. Trying to figure out like what exactly can we do well, what we need to protect some of our players against it also.
Outside of your staff, is there anyone you talk to when you get frustrated about football, you just want to vent to, maybe like the way the season ended, maybe your dad or brother, siblings, anything like that?
Probably my dad and my wife. You know, those are probably the two main people I talk to. That's probably not as far as associated directly with the program, and maybe in the profession, as far as they give me a different perspective on how to handle things or how to address certain things.
Talk about your more than a game motto for this year. Would you expound on that a bit?
Yeah. So I think because of the Celebration Bowl and because of the exposure we received as a program, and because of some of the things that have happened as a university as a whole, I think a lot of that is somewhat due to football. Whether it's admissions going up, as far as our enrollment going up, as far as some of the branding and some of the exposure that we got on the national stage. And really, it's not just football. It's also, too, our basketball team has done well, and other programs in athletics have done some really good things. And just letting our student athletes understand that what they do on a day-to-day basis, as far as going out there playing in games and practicing and things like that, they have an effect on not just what happens on the field, but also in the community. We've had some exposure in the community as well. So just knowing that just playing football is more than just that. It's more than a game.
I know that Coach Cutler probably talked about this a little bit. Just talk about, this is a game between Duke and North Carolina Central, and this game with, the community of Durham coming together. Just talk a little bit about, what that means.
I think it's awesome. First of all, I think when you think about what we anticipate the fan base being on Saturday, as far as I'm hearing, it's probably going to be close to a sold-out crowd. I'm just excited about the two communities coming together, especially in this time. There's a lot of things outside in the world that's going on, and that sporting event a lot of times brings people together. And I think that's what hopefully we're able to do in our small part, as far as making the entire world come together.
5 freshmen, a red shirt, true freshman on the two deep, is that more than you expected or more than you like, or you okay with that?
I'm okay with that. Like I said, those guys have done a great job coming in, learning exactly what we're doing. They've shown some maturity that really surprised me a lot. So, those redshirt freshmen, they were in our program last year, so they understand how we go about handling business and how we do things. So they're going to get their opportunity hopefully on Saturday as well.
Now you'll get some snaps.
I don't know. It just kind of all depends on the flow of the game between him and Chauncey, exactly, who we choose to put in. I'm not ruling anything out, but I honestly really don't know.
Howell Brown, 13-year-old, passed away a few days ago, and he had ties to both Duke and NCCU. You've had the opportunity to meet with him and engage with him. Talk about Howell Brown.
First of all, he's a great young man. And I think what Howell did for us as an NCCU football team was put it in perspective once again, it's more than a game. The things that he battled through and he fought through, and to see his charisma, his attitude toward life, even in the face of adversity, it just showed, I think, to our young men that no matter what you're going through, somebody's going through something a little bit tougher, and they're finding a way to overcome. And I think our young men really grew and learned a lot from him being around and associated with our program.
We're here with sophomore offensive lineman Nick Leverett. Nick, thanks for joining us today. Can you just talk about how the preseason has gone and how you feel the team is coming into this weekend?
The preseason process has been going great. My team, we've been working hard since summer, really since spring, we've been working hard. So I feel real confident.
Mike, I talked about him a little bit, how he won the guys over and what he's showing you, taking over the starting job from Malcolm. Not taking it from Malcolm, but taking it over and replacing Malcolm.
Right. Malcolm Bell was a exceptional quarterback. He was a really good guy. Just to see Micah come in and contribute. just kind of do some things that Malcolm did. That's a good thing to see. Micah has done a good job. He's a really good guy on and off the field. The attitude he has is just great. It's something that we really need.
At what point did he win you over? I know you started on the line. You got to protect him. He has to win you over at some point. When did that happen?
Just really during the summer, just when we was in workouts and stuff, just seeing his work ethic. He didn't take anything off. He was just after and that's just something I like to see. That's something I want to see in the whole team.
Did you see him being a new guy, kind of taking time away from football, just kind of bond and interact with the guys and try to get to know them better?
Oh yeah, definitely. He came in. He didn't. He wasn't shy or anything. He's a real talkative guy. He used to come by my house just to make sure we was all right. Ask if we wanted to go get something to eat or just hang out. So he didn't have a hard time opening up at all.
Did he join the Hot Boys at the hibachi buffets?
Nah, he did. That was too exclusive for him.
Nick, what do you hope to see from the team this weekend in a showdown against a big program like Duke?
First of all, I give credit to Duke. They're a really great team. Just looking at film, they just seen from last year. I know some guys is coming back. So I expect for them to be equally as good as from last year. Just my team. I just hope that we come out with a good head. Play with technique and just discipline. I hope we do good.
Can you talk about what it's like to be an NCCU football player? What's the mental and physical conditioning like to get ready for a big game like this?
It's hard, you want, because every player, is practicing for perfection. So, on and off the field, we have classes off the field, we just trying to maintain classes, but when we get on the field, we try to do everything perfect because we want to be perfect, close to perfect we could be.
Perfection wins the game.
No, but that's our goal, just to be perfect.
Perfection is the goal. How many practices, or I don't know if it's a practice a week or just a single rep, but how many times have you seen perfection in the fall?
No, I mean, because no one's perfect. So, I haven't seen it, but, just to see guys that actually try to do, play in the best of their ability is what I'm satisfied with.
Did you play in this game last year?
Oh, yes, sir, I did. I started last year.
What was it that you remember about last year that you can take into this year's game?
The defensive line, Duke's defensive line was, very, athletic, strong up front. So just taking that from last year, just tell my guys, I can kind of tell them what to prepare for and, just get ready for it.
Talk about the level of confidence, AKA swag, that you guys go into a game of this magnitude to open up the season compared to how it was a few years ago. Now that you guys are the championship program, on the level of football that you play, what's that confidence like going into this game now compared to what this program was at a few years ago?
We got our swagger, but at the same time, we all stay humble. We don't never do anything out of pocket or anything. So, we're very confident, but at the same time, we're very humble.
This has been an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.